Have you ever had a brilliant idea? Sudden insight that felt important, almost exciting? And then, just minutes later, it completely vanished? Try to remember it, but the thought is gone. What if some of the best ideas you ever had simply disappeared? Because you didn't capture them in time. Think about this for a moment. You're walking somewhere, maybe driving, maybe taking a shower, maybe just sitting quietly after a long day. And suddenly, your mind connects something. An idea appears. It feels clear. It feels valuable. You'd even tell yourself, I'll remember this later. But later comes. And the idea is gone. Completely gone. Most people have experienced this many times in their lives. A thought appears, feels meaningful. Then it fades like a dream you can't fully recall. But here's the interesting question. Why does this happen? Why do ideas appear so suddenly and disappear just as quickly? To understand this, we need to understand something simple about the human brain. Your brain is constantly generating connections. Every second, it's processing memories, experiences, emotions, and patterns from everything you've learned throughout your life. Most of this activity happens quietly in the background, and sometimes it's two completely different ideas suddenly connect. When that connection happens, your brain produces what psychologists call an insight moment. It feels like a small mental spark. But here's the strange part. Insight moments often appear when you are not trying to think hard. Have you noticed that? Some of the best ideas come while walking, or while relaxing, or in the shower, or during a quiet moment when your mind finally slows down. Why? Because when your brain relaxes, a network inside the brain called the default mode network becomes active. This network helps the brain wander, connects memories, ideas, and patterns that normally stay separate. In simple words, your brain starts quietly exploring, and suddenly something new appears. It's an idea, a realization, a creative solution. But here's the hidden psychological problem. Insight is fragile, very fragile. The brain does not automatically store these ideas as long-term memories. Instead, they first exist in what psychologists call working memory. Working memory is extremely limited, can only hold a few thoughts in it at one time. If your attention moves to something else, a message, a sound, another thought, the idea can disappear. Just like that, fades before it ever becomes permanent. Think about how many times you've told yourself this. I'll remember that later, but later arrives. And nothing is there. The mind simply moved on. Now here's where the story takes an interesting turn. Because the people we often call brilliant thinkers understood something very important about this process. They did not trust their memory. Instead, they trusted a very simple habit. They captured ideas immediately. One fascinating example comes from the famous physicist Richard Feynman. Feynman was known for his incredible curiosity and creative thinking. But he also had a simple rule. Whenever an interesting idea appeared in his mind, he wrote it down. Sometimes in small notebooks, sometimes on loose pieces of paper, sometimes just quick notes. Why did he do this? Because he understood something most people ignore. The brain produces ideas quickly, but it does not protect them. Writing them down protects them. Think about the difference for a moment. An idea in your mind is temporary. An idea on paper becomes something you can return to, something you can develop, something you can expand later. Now imagine something simple. You're walking outside. A random thought appears. Maybe an idea for a project, maybe a solution to a problem, maybe a sentence for something you want to write. At that moment, the idea feels obvious. It feels memorable. But your brain is already moving forward. New thoughts are arriving. New stimuli appear. Within minutes, the original idea begins fading, unless you capture it. And this is where something powerful happens. When you write an idea down, you are doing more than recording it. You are telling your brain something important. You are telling it this matters. Psychologists call this externalizing thought. Instead of forcing the brain to store everything internally, you move ideas into the physical world. On paper, in a notebook, on your phone. Once an idea is external, it becomes stable. It stops competing with other thoughts. You can return to it later with fresh attention. This simple act changes the entire creative process. Instead of hoping your brain remembers everything, you create a system that protects ideas. Think about how many writers, researchers, and inventors rely on this exact habit. Writers carry notebooks. Scientists keep idea journals. Designers sketch concepts the moment they appear, because they understand something simple. Ideas are like sparks. If you don't catch them quickly, they disappear into the dark. And here's a thought that might surprise you. Many breakthroughs did not begin as fully formed ideas. They started as small notes, fragments, questions, half-finished thoughts written quickly before they disappeared. Later, those fragments became books, discoveries, and innovations. But without that first small act of capturing the idea, none of it would exist. Which brings us to something symbolic. A pen. A simple object. Small, ordinary, easy to ignore. But in reality, a pen can be one of the most powerful thinking tools you own. Because the moment you write something down, you transform a fleeting thought into a visible idea, create a bridge between the mind and the world. Suddenly, the idea has weight, it has presence, it can grow, it can evolve, and most importantly, it can survive. Now imagine this. What if some of the best ideas you've ever had appeared during ordinary moments? While walking, while waiting, while resting. But they disappeared before you had the chance to capture them. Not because the ideas were weak, but because the mind simply moved too fast. This happens to everyone. Even the most creative thinkers in the world. The difference is simple. Some people notice the idea and let it go. Others notice the idea, captured immediately. Over time, those captured ideas become something powerful. Projects, articles, research, inventions, creative work, all beginning with one small decision. Write it down. So the next time a thought suddenly appears in your mind, pause for a moment. Ask yourself something simple. What if this idea matters more than I think? What if this small insight could grow into something meaningful? And what if the only difference between losing it and discovering its potential is whether you capture it right now? Because the truth is, your mind is constantly producing ideas. The real question is not whether ideas appear. The real question is whether you are ready when they do. How many powerful ideas do you think have already passed through your mind, disappeared forever? And how different could your thinking become if you started capturing them? So keep your mind curious, keep your attention open, and most importantly, keep a pen ready. Because the next idea that appears might be the one that changes everything. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology of thinking, creativity, and ideas, stay tuned for the next video here on The Pen Effect, where we dive even deeper into the surprising ways the mind works.